And welcome back to Hannity Now. President-elect Donald Trump again hosting high-profile meetings in New York, including a dinner tonight with former Governor Mitt Romney. And on Thursday night, the president-elect will kick off his, quote, USA Thank You Tour in Cincinnati, Ohio. Along with Vice President-elect Mike Pence, he joins us now in studio. First of all, congratulations.
Thank you, Sean.
Has it hit you yet?
No.
Yeah.
Maybe January 20th, but we're so focused right now. The president-elect is so focused on the work, on assembling a cabinet, assembling a government to move forward an agenda that we know is going to make America great again. We'll leave the when it hits us to later.
All right, so high-profile meetings. You did have two announcements today. I've known Congressman Price for many years. He went into real depth and detail about replacing Obamacare. Not an insignificant task, a big part of the Trump agenda.
Well, it'll be the first thing out of the gate. We're going to be back on Capitol Hill tomorrow. Reince Priebus and I will be meeting with the leaders of the House and the Senate. And the president-elect's made it very clear. He wants the Congress, when they convene in early January, to take up the task of repealing and replacing Obamacare first. And the appointment of Dr. Tom Price as the head of Health and Human Services, someone who literally for the last half a dozen years has been in the forefront of efforts not only to repeal Obamacare, but to put forward common sense free market solutions that will lower the cost of health insurance without growing the size of government is very exciting and should be a source of great encouragement to millions of Americans who know we've got to repeal Obamacare, but we've got to replace it
that's a difficult
with
task.
Real solutions.
The average American's paying $4,100 more per family. So many lost their doctors, lost their plans, and projected increases this year. Do you have any idea on the time frame when that replacement might be able to happen?
Well, I think the first thing is to repeal Obamacare lock, stock, and barrel, and make sure that we make it clear at the outset of this Congress that we're starting over on health care reform that respects the doctor-patient relationship and harnesses the power of the free market. You know, what President-elect Trump has said over and over again is it's time for us to allow Americans to purchase health insurance across state lines. It's time to give people more consumer choices, health savings accounts, something that he's championed since very early in the campaign. And Dr. Tom Price, soon to be Secretary Tom Price at HHS, is going to be able to help us take that agenda, first to repeal, and then to work with leaders in Congress, in the House and the Senate, to craft solutions which will be implemented, you know, over a phased-in period of time. We don't want any American to be anxious about a transition. It'll be an orderly transition, as the president-elect said in that famous speech in Philadelphia, but we'll be working toward really a solution that's grounded in the American principles of free market economics and respecting the doctor-patient relationship.
One position that seems to have gotten the most attention is Secretary of State.
Right.
Big meeting with Governor Romney tonight. I know that he was with General Petraeus yesterday. His name has been mentioned a lot. Rudy Giuliani's name, Senator Bob Corker's name. Obviously, the decision hasn't been made. There are some good people here, but in the case of Governor Romney, who called Donald Trump racist, misogynist, unqualified for the office, apparently shared his donor list with General McMillan and his run. Is that a game changer for you? Is that a difficulty overcoming that from your perspective? You know,
it's such a privilege for me to. It's almost hard for me to express that I'm the Vice President-elect of the United States, but to have been asked by the President-elect to chair the transition, my first obligation is to bring together you know, a broad range of men and women before the President-elect and his team so that he can sort out and create that lineup that's going to be able to move the Trump agenda forward in the Congress and all across the country. And I think what you're witnessing here, and we met with Senator Bob Corker today at the Trump Tower with General Petraeus yesterday. I met very often with Rudy Giuliani and talked to John Bolton, communicated with him today in the dinner that's happening tonight. I think what you're witnessing here is a leader in President-elect Donald Trump who wants to take in all the options but I'm absolutely confident that he's going to choose the right person in every single one of these cases that he believes is going to be best equipped to move his agenda forward and, more importantly, move the country forward.
Well, let me ask this. To me, the Trump agenda has been laid out, and it's very simple. Originalist justices, vetting refugees, repatriation of trillions, 15% corporate tax rate, 7 brackets to 3. He's going to build the wall, eliminate Obamacare, energy independence, and education back to the states. If those 6, 7, 8 things get done, this will profoundly change America. Are you confident that all those agenda items will be accomplished?
Well, I really am. When the President-elect and I went to Capitol Hill just a couple short weeks ago, we met with Leader McConnell, with Speaker Ryan. As I said, I'll be back on Capitol Hill tomorrow as we're beginning to lay out the details of that. But I think, you know, my word when I went to Capitol Hill as I talked to members of Congress is I said, buckle up.
It'll be busy.
It's not just going to be a busy 100 days, Sean. It's going to be a busy 200 days. I mean, what you have in our president-elect, and you've known him for a long time, a lot longer than I have. This is a man of boundless energy and creativity, and he is absolutely determined to move that agenda forward and move it forward quickly. We're going to start out of the gate by repealing and replacing Obamacare. We're going to take steps to achieve real border security, build a wall, end illegal immigration. You're going to see an appointment to the Supreme Court of a strict constructionist that's going to be in the tradition of the late and great Justice Antonin Scalia. And then before we get to the spring, you're going to see President Donald Trump make good on his pledge to cut taxes across the board for working families, small businesses, family farms, and to roll back the kind of excessive regulations that are stifling American growth, and the other issues you mentioned as well. But
energy is, I think, a big job creating opportunity.
Unleashing the power of the American energy economy, ending the war on coal. I mean, it really is extraordinary. I think people have been watching this transition, and I think they're already getting a sense of the boundless energy that President-elect Donald Trump is bringing to this effort, and I think you're only going to see that accelerate in the weeks and months ahead. So that's my word to them on Capitol Hill. I'll tell them
ready,
tomorrow.
buckle up.
Buckle up.
Yeah.
We're going to go to work for the American people. We're going to make America great again.
This is a great opportunity. The only obstacle could be the Senate, the filibuster, and we know how Harry Reid dealt with that, especially when it relates to judicial appointments. Would you want Mitch McConnell to do the same thing?
Well, I think, you know, they changed the rules there with regard to all the other court vacancies and, frankly, many of the confirmations. You know, we're very grateful to have a Republican majority in the Senate, to have the necessary 51 votes to be able to move the president-elect's agenda forward. But I think whether it's the Supreme Court, whether it's repealing and replacing Obamacare, whether it's fundamental tax relief or ending illegal immigration, I think the other thing you better get used to is, and you're going to see it this week when the president-elect and I hit the road, is a President Donald Trump is not just going to be talking to Congress. He's going to be talking to the American people. He's going to be taking his case consistently to the American people and encouraging them, as you remember that other president
Ronald
we like
Reagan.
A whole lot, Ronald Reagan used to do, go ask the American people to call your congressman and call your senator. And I think that's the reason why I'm very confident we're going to see the Trump agenda move forward, and we're going to get this country working again and rebuild our military and do all the kind of things that'll make America great again.
What could we glean from what we have seen in terms of your role so far? Because you've been in most of these meetings. And they seem endless. They're Monday through Friday, Saturday and Sunday. They don't seem to ever stop.
Yeah.
I have known him a long time. He doesn't really like vacations. He wants to roll up his sleeves and get to work. And let me ask you this. What have you learned through this process about Donald Trump that maybe the American people don't know that you'd want them to know?
Well, I've just gotten to know him over the last 6 months, and he is, at his very core, has an extraordinary intellect. He's extraordinarily creative. He's one of the most inherently curious people I've ever met in my life. To be in these meetings, and we've had this galaxy of extraordinary men and women from a broad range of backgrounds. Many Republicans, even some Democrats, who have come in and sat down, and the questions that he asked, getting straight to the point, it just continues to give me the confidence that I had when I said yes to this job last summer, that Donald Trump's going to be a great president of the United States because he has the leadership qualities to really lead America forward and inspire our nation to greater heights.
Look, there's been all sorts of definitions about the role of the vice president, but if we can glean anything from what we've seen in the last couple of weeks, you're going to have a very active role as vice president. Is that what you envision?
Well,
you've been in almost every meeting.
Well, the role of the vice president will be exactly what the president defines it to be, and I believe in servant leadership, and I'm here to serve the president-elect in whatever capacity that he'd have me to serve. But to be alongside him, I have to tell you, if you could be a fly on the wall,
I've been there
meetings,
a little bit. Not during the meetings, though.
The decision late today to name Elaine Chao as the Secretary of Transportation. I mean, someone who was the longest-serving Secretary of Labor under the last administration since World War II. But before that, what President-elect Donald Trump was able to glean was actually the depth of her expertise comes in the area of transportation and infrastructure, and his vision to rebuild the infrastructure of this country and ignite a whole new era of American growth based on a renewal of our commitment to have the best transportation, on land and water and air and in the world is going to be implemented by being able to identify someone like Elaine Chao and put her in the kind of position that can implement his agenda.
Mr. Vice President-elect, it's an honor to have you in studio. Thank you so much for your time.
Good to be with you,
appreciate it.
Sean.